No, this is nearly impossible.
What is up, everybody? Today's plan is to do a handlebar swap. So I have these Soma Port Manns, and I'm gonna put them on to my Gunnar. These are the Velo Orange Granola Bars. I've been running these for a while. I absolutely love them. But I think the Port Manns will be slightly better on this bike. I think that a little more flat area on the top. The sweep starts a little bit later and they come back a little bit straighter. I've been looking at these at my local bike shop for a while and I always wanted them, try them, but I couldn't really justify switching for such a similar bar. They're not that different. I just really think I'm gonna like the idea on long hand tours of my hands being in more of a flat pattern. The reason I was able to justify it is I am gonna put the granola bars onto my winter bike. I've been running these Surly corner bars and I really like corner bars because they kind of give you the drop bar vibe, but you don't have to use drop bar controls. That's their big advantage. When I put these on here, I was thinking, you know, when I do winter rides with my group ride, that goes a little quicker. I want the drop bar experience and all that. But since I've gotten so used to sweeps on the Gunnar, I no longer really want the drop bar vibe on that bike. When I ride it, I'm like, I wish I had sweep bars on my studded tire bike. That's what we're gonna try. I'll be interested to see if there are any handling issues, but I think since I ride back here sometimes, it shouldn't be too bad. I just don't know if that'll move the steering axis back that far. I've also thought about flipping these upside down. I think I'm going to put the granola bars on here no matter what, and then maybe I'll experiment with these on something else. I'm sure most people know this, but you're supposed to tighten these down in kind of an X pattern with the bolts, and that's a way to try and make them even. So I did not sit here and obsess over the kind of angle, down angle that I put these at because it's something I'll adjust as needed. I've got them fairly flat. We'll see out on the road if I need to adjust. Does anyone remember how are these bar ends held in? Are they just in by pressure or is there a screw somewhere? So these bar ends, what I figured out, I had forgotten, they actually come apart. And there's bolt for the 6mm bolt for the compression rings. So yeah, you take a screw out of the side. So basically the axle nut comes out of this to access it. The grip box. So these are worn out. That's why I kind of replaced them, are a little worn out. It's gonna be rare to be riding a studded tire bike without gloves on. There's no point buying a new set of grips for this project.
But yeah, so far with the bars, total party pace ride. I'm going 10 miles an hour. But I can tell a difference, even though it's slight. The front end is a little quicker. My arms are out a little wider, a little bit more upright. I do need to adjust my levers, brakes, and shifters to be more downward. But we'll talk about that all when I'm warm and back in the studio. So I only ended up doing about 10 miles on pavement on the Gunnar with these new Soma Port Mann bars on it, but I do think they are going to work out really well on this bike. I ride this bike for so many different things. It's my rigid mountain bike, it's my bike packing bike, it's my Explore bike, it's the bike I just take out sometimes because my bags are already on it. The way these bars are shaped with that front real estate I think will be good for many different kinds of bags, many different accoutrements on the bars, or just even the flat bar hand position. And I do like being a little more upright. The real test will be when I take it off-road and do a little mountain biking, but I think it's going to work out well for that. I do think I will end up probably tilting these bars down a little bit. Sports mode, as Ronnie Romance would say. Might make a little bit of lever adjustments, but that's typical of anything new that you're trying out. Great thing is, if it doesn't end up being what I want, I could always put the granola bars back on here and then swap these over to the truck. So as you guys saw, I got the Gunnar all sorted. I ran into a little hitch with trying to get the winter bike together with the Velo Orange bars. I didn't know this, I just assumed it all works, but the bar ends do not fit in the Velo Orange bars. So I'm looking at some other options. Got my little box of vintage derailleur stuff. I checked out Shimano because that's a Sun Tour bar end, still doesn't work. Found this Sun Tour shifter, but I think it's for the other side. I would still be able to make it work, but I was like, if I use bar mitts, maybe that'll become a problem. I was looking at this kind of interesting Shimano Unishift, and what you can do with this one is there's a little plastic plug in there. You take the top off and this one will work either way. It's kind of got a high profile though, and again with bar mitts, I was like, is this the way I want to go? And so I was looking at this vintage, probably from 7-speed, 8-speed, I don't know, Shimano Dior. Find a bolt, and I think this is the simple way to go. Plus then I got a barrel adjuster. See if I've got a shift cable here, because it's snowing like crazy outside, and I want to go outside and ride today. This, by the way, is the original shifter, indexed. It just basically kept getting junked up. I don't know if you ever mess with the old ones. There's a tine in there, and you could take it apart and re-lube. It's not that hard to do. It's just, I found myself having to do it all the time. Just old, it's not worth it. Friction for a front triple is absolutely fine for the way I ride this bike. It's almost always in the middle ring. The 8 speeds in the back with the middle ring are 90% of the riding I'm gonna do on this bike. This little Shimano shifter in place, it's shifting just fine. I didn't film it. I got real frustrated because I kept fraying the cables trying to get them through here. I was using a couple older ones, but all good now. It'll need a little bit of adjustment. I shortened the housing, but it's still quite long. People ask about this housing in general. I mean, the reason the other ones are so long is because I like to run a front bag here under the happy stem. Now let's see if we can make this work. So after getting everything done, like I said, I wanted to get out in the snow. I went and I rode down to the tow path and over to the bike shop. When I got to the bike shop, I realized the angle of the granola bars was too high. I was able to level that out there. Had Otis and Jan to help me out at Dirty River Bicycle Works. I already could tell that I really liked the vibe, and it was totally different. Then got off work, we went over to Missing Falls and got some dinner, and then rode back through the valley, and it was snowing like crazy, and it was beautiful. Pretty awesome ride, even though it was getting cold. The next day, I also went out again and went intentionally to the industrial gravel. Now the angle was set right, the levers were set a little better, I adjusted those too, and I am absolutely loving the granola bars on this old Trek. I bought this bike brand new in 2001, and I keep finding a purpose for it, and these are the bars that is making it absolutely perfect. So the things that I really love about it is, being more upright, as mentioned. That's the position I want to be in on a bike that is not intended to be going fast. The whole point about this bike is it's studded tires. It's just for riding in the snow or the icy or the slushy conditions. So there's no reason to be like leaned over or anything like that. And then the leverage. So when I was riding down the industrial gravel, I looked down and at parts I'm going 5 miles an hour through the thick snow. That little leverage to keep my balance, and that's what I've been doing in the snow and the ice on these rides. It's basically just balancing act. It's practicing like keeping your bike upright. A pair of sweep bars just works so great for that. With the happy stem and the sweep bars, this bike I think has found like its purpose and its function, and I'm super stoked on it. So nothing about this video is actually meant to be a combination of the Surly corner bars. They're actually a great product. They make so much sense if you are really just trying to get a shallow drop bar vibe on a bike and you just want to take your flat bar controls and swap them straight over so you don't have to do the whole conversion. I originally put these onto this Trek with the original stem, and I rode down to the post office and I already knew it was way too slammed and there was no way I could ride it. I then got the Velo Orange Happy Stem and bumped them up a bit and rode it for a couple years like that. We didn't get a lot of snow over those last couple of years, so I didn't ride it that much and get that much experience. This year, the first time I went out, being so used to the sweep bars on the Gunnar, I was like, man, I am just way too slammed. This is just, even with the happy stem, not the way I want to be riding. For the right bike, with the right geometry, the right stack height, these are still a great option if that's what you're going for, the multiple hand positions and all that, because that's great. It just doesn't work for what I am trying to do on this bike. So I do think this double handlebar swap is going to go really well. I think it's going to be exactly what I was hoping for, but I'll continue to talk about it as always as I ride them more and more and share my experiences with you guys. Thanks as always for watching. Give this video a thumbs up. If you're interested in the industrial gravel t-shirts, every size is back in stock, so if you had missed out on any, they're all back there now. I only order as many as I can afford and as many as my buddy Micah has time to print. They're all handmade. I appreciate all the orders I've gotten so far, but check that out if you're interested. I will see you in the next video. Peace. I want to show you guys something. I just rode 11 miles in the snow, every kind of condition, and my bridge here, I can't ride. See that? Studs, fat bikes, doesn't matter. The snow is slipping on the snow and I can't keep it upright. But I'm gonna try again once I get where it's a little thinner, but all these footprints and ice underneath, and it is what it is.